Evan Hale never expected his life to change because of a roommate. He especially never expected the roommate to come from a forest world hundreds of light years away. He had signed up for the interspecies exchange program after hearing it would help humans understand new cultures. He liked engineering, he liked peaceful work, and he liked quiet people. He imagined his roommate would be tall, maybe serious, maybe someone who liked reading data tablets. He did not imagine what he actually got. Her name was Leary. The moment her small transport pod landed inside the program's housing center, Evan hurried to greet her. He held a clipboard close to his chest and tried to adjust his jacket so he looked professional. Other humans around him whispered excitedly as different alien partners stepped out of their pods. Some were huge warriors. Some had fur. Some had feathers. Some had long tails or wide, glowing eyes. Evan took a deep breath and walked to the silver pod with her name printed on the side. A soft hiss escaped as the door slowly opened. He leaned forward to say hello, but his voice caught in his throat. A tiny girl stepped out. She wasn't human, of course. Her skin glowed softly like moonlight under water, and she had faint patterns that shifted like moving light on a river. Her hair was short and white, floating a little as if air was lighter around her. Her large eyes looked like glass pearls, shining with innocent curiosity. And she wasn't wearing clothes. Evan froze, completely froze. His brain stopped working. Every warning sign in his head exploded at the same time. He dropped his clipboard. He tried to speak, but all that came out was a choking sound. Leary blinked at him, confused. "Hello, human assigned to me," she said in a bright, cheerful voice. "Are you well? You are making strange noises." Evan snapped back to life. He grabbed his jacket from his shoulders and rushed to wrap it around her, almost tripping in the process. You need to cover yourself. What are you doing?" Leary tilted her head. "Cover? Why? Is your world cold?" He struggled to place the jacket over her tiny shoulders, but her small body moved lightly, almost as if she was weightless, and the jacket kept slipping off. She didn't pull away, but she looked extremely puzzled. "Humans," Evan said, trying to breathe normally. "Humans wear clothes. Always. Almost always. It's normal. It's respect. It's polite." Leary touched the jacket, rubbing the fabric between her fingers. "This is heavy," she said softly. "And rough. Does putting this on make you feel safe?" "No," Evan muttered. "No, it makes me feel like I'm not going to be removed from the program on the first day." She blinked again, her glowing patterns shifting slightly. Evan didn't know enough about her species to understand what that meant. Maybe confusion, maybe annoyance, maybe amusement. He couldn't tell. Before she could say anything else, one of the program assistants walked by. Evan panicked and pulled Leary behind him like he was hiding a priceless treasure about to be stolen. The assistant kept walking without noticing anything, but Evan's heart kept pounding. Leary looked up at him calmly. "Your heartbeat is too fast," she said. "Are you frightened? Did my arrival upset you?" No, Evan said quickly, trying to breathe. "You're fine. Everything's fine. Let's get to the room first, okay? We'll talk there." She nodded politely. "Yes, lead the way." They walked together through the housing center, Evan holding the jacket around her like a shield, while Leary walked beside him as if nothing unusual was happening at all. Their room was one of the small exchange units built for mixed species living. 2 beds, 2 desks, a shared kitchen, a single large window showing the floating city platform outside. Evan opened the door and let Leary enter first. Then he closed it quickly, leaned on the door, and slid down the wall until he was sitting on the floor, exhausted. Leary watched him with gentle curiosity. Then she let the jacket fall from her shoulders. Evan almost fainted. "Please stop doing that," he said, voice rising in panic again. "Why?" she asked. "I already explained. My body is not uncovered." These are my natural armor plates. She touched her own shimmering skin. See? Hard, strong, protective. My people evolved like this. Evan slowly stood up, trying to keep his eyes anywhere but directly on her. Humans don't have that. Humans wear clothing to cover themselves. It's a rule. A very important rule. Leary stared at him for a long moment. Her glowing skin patterns changed to a soft aqua color. A rule, she repeated. Strange. Clothing hides emotional patterns. How do humans read each other's feelings? Evan laughed nervously. We use faces, tone of voice, words, not glowing skin. She walked toward the window and looked outside at the floating buildings. Your people are interesting, she said softly. Very complicated. Very loud. Loud? Evan asked. You make strong reactions to small things, she said, turning around and pointing at his red face. Like now. Evan sighed. Sorry. It's not normal for us. I'm not trying to upset you. I just don't want anyone to report us. If they think the exchange failed on day 1, I'll be sent home. You'll be sent home too. Leary's patterns dimmed a little, as if she felt something like sadness. I do not want that, she said quietly. I came here to learn. I want to understand humans. I want to be a good partner. Hearing that made Evan relax a little. She wasn't trying to cause trouble. She wasn't mocking him. She was simply different. Completely different. He took a deep breath and forced himself to stay calm. Okay, he said gently. Let's talk. Maybe we can find a solution. Something that works for both of us. Leary sat on the couch, curling her small legs under her. She looked like a glowing bird perched on a branch. Explain your clothing rule again, she said. I want to understand. Evan sat across from her. Humans cover certain parts of their body. It's private. It's personal. It's considered respectful. Respectful to hide? Leary asked softly. Strange concept. Clothes also protect against cold, heat, and injuries, Evan added. Leary nodded. That part I understand. Does your species never wear clothing? Evan asked. She shook her head. Our bodies show our emotions through patterns. If we hide them, others cannot communicate with us. Hiding patterns means hiding truth. It is only done when someone is being dishonest. Evan paused. That meant every time he tried to cover her in the jacket, she might have felt accused of lying. No wonder she kept rejecting clothes. Leary looked at her arms and watched the shifting patterns. If I hide them, she said softly, my people would think I do not trust you. Evan felt a small pinch in his heart. Trust? He repeated. Yes, she said, her eyes glowing brighter. I chose you as my partner because humans are known for courage and kindness. I want to build that same trust with you. Evan swallowed. She had chosen him. That made everything more complicated but also meaningful. She continued, if I cover myself, it might tell you that I do not trust you. That would hurt me. Evan looked at her glowing skin again. He didn't see anything inappropriate now. He saw something alien, unique, and natural, something normal for her species. I think I understand, he said slowly. Leary smiled warmly. Good. Understanding is the first bridge between species. Evan rubbed his face. But we still have a big problem. Tomorrow there's a surprise inspection. If you appear unclothed, the officers might think I failed to follow rules. Leary blinked. They will remove you? It's possible, Evan admitted. Leary's skin patterns shifted rapidly, showing distress. I do not want you to be punished. You have been kind to me. I've been panicking, Evan corrected quietly. But kind panic, she said with a tiny laugh. Evan sighed and stood up. Okay. We need something. Something light. Something that won't cover your patterns but will still count as clothing. Maybe Maybe something transparent, or something ultra-thin. He began searching the room for materials, old sheets, leftover fabrics, even packaging material. Leary watched him with curiosity. He tried wrapping a transparent sheet around her like a robe. She moved one step and it fell off. He tried a soft silk-like scarf. She poked it. "This feels like wet leaves," she said, removing it instantly. He tried a flexible plastic material. She sneezed and stepped away from it. "Synthetic smell. Very bad." By the time the sun began to set, the floor looked like a ruined clothing store. Evan sat in the middle of the mess, exhausted. "We have nothing," he said. "Nothing works. I don't know what to do." Leary walked over to him and sat quietly beside him. She was small enough that she barely reached his shoulder. "Human Evan," she said gently, "it is not your fault. There is no perfect solution yet. It is difficult to combine two cultures." Evan leaned back against the couch. "I feel like I'm failing on day one." "You are not failing," Leary said in her soft musical voice. "You are trying to understand me. That is success." Evan looked at her glowing patterns again. They had softened into calm swirls. Something about them was peaceful and comforting. "I'll keep trying," he said. Leary nodded. "I will help." They spent the rest of the night learning more about each other. Leary told him about her home world, full of huge trees and glowing plants. She told him her species communicates emotions through patterns, songs, and gentle movements. She explained they don't fight much, they avoid conflict, and they value honesty above everything. Evan told her about Earth, about how humans used clothing for culture, expression, modesty, protection, and comfort. He admitted humans sometimes judged quickly because of appearance, something he hoped their program would help change. By midnight, Evan felt more relaxed around her. He didn't panic as much when she moved. He didn't jump every time her patterns glowed. She was still unclothed, yes, but he was beginning to see it differently, not inappropriate, just alien. He walked toward his bed and sat down. Leary walked toward hers, but before she climbed onto it, she looked at him with a serious expression. "Evan," she said, "tomorrow's inspection worries you." "It does," he admitted. "I will try again," she said. "I will try to wear something, even if it feels strange." Evan's eyes widened. "You don't have to force yourself. I want to help you," she said simply. "You are my partner. That means I protect you, too." Evan didn't know what to say. Her voice was so sincere that it made his chest tighten a little. She was tiny, gentle, and peaceful, but she had a strong heart. "Thank you, Leary," he said quietly. She climbed onto her bed and curled up like a small glowing creature, soft patterns lighting the dark room. As Evan lay down, he stared at the ceiling, thinking about the inspection, thinking about Leary, thinking about the impossible problem they had to solve by morning. The tiny alien girl didn't understand clothing, and he didn't understand her world, but somehow they had to find a bridge between them. Sleep came slowly, and Evan whispered one last thought before drifting off. "This is going to be the hardest exchange program in the galaxy." The morning of the inspection arrived too fast. Evan woke with a heavy feeling in his stomach. He hadn't slept well. Every hour he kept thinking about Leary, the inspection, and how everything could go wrong in a single moment. The room was quiet except for a soft hum coming from Leary's side. Her glowing skin patterns drifted slowly, changing colors in a peaceful rhythm. She looked calm, completely unaware of how stressed Evan felt. He sat up and rubbed his face. "Morning," he said gently. Leary opened her eyes. They were bright and clear, like morning stars. "Good morning, Evan," she said. "Your voice sounds tired." "I didn't sleep great," he admitted. She climbed off her small bed and floated lightly toward him, her movements graceful and weightless. Is it the inspection? She asked quietly. Yeah, he said. It's today. The officers might arrive any time. Leary's patterns shifted, showing a color Evan now recognized as concern. We must prepare, she said softly. He nodded. We need something, anything, that lets you keep your patterns visible but still counts as clothing. Leary held up the thin scarf he had tried the night before. She wore it around her shoulders like a tiny cape, but it kept sliding off. Perhaps I can wear this, she said. Evan shook his head. It falls off when you walk, and it still blocks part of your patterns. You told me that feels like hiding your emotions. Leary nodded sadly and removed it. Yes, it feels wrong, like my voice is covered. Evan walked to the window and looked outside at the floating city. Other exchange partners were already awake. Some humans led large armored aliens through the hallway. Some aliens were trying human clothes for the first time, laughing loudly or complaining about the tightness. But Evan had a unique challenge. His alien partner was tiny, gentle, and culturally unable to wear clothes. He turned back to her. We need to think differently, he said. Leary stepped closer. Different is good, she said. Your people are famous for new ideas. That is why I wanted a human partner. Hearing that gave him a strange burst of motivation. He walked to his desk and opened one of the drawers. Inside were engineering tools, small hologram projectors, wires, nanolights, flexible metal strips. He had brought them from the human academy where he worked. Leary watched him with curiosity. You have many strange objects, she said. I'm an engineer, Evan said, lifting a small hollow chip. I build things. Can you build something for me? She asked softly. He smiled. I think I can. He placed several projectors on the table and connected them. His hands moved quickly, his eyes focused. Leary watched with admiration. Humans were fascinating to her, so fast, so determined, so full of ideas even in stressful moments. What are you building? She asked. A suit, he said. But not a normal one. A hollow weave. She leaned closer. Hollow weave? Hologram fabric, he explained. It's not physical clothing. It's light, energy. It doesn't cover your skin. It goes around you like a thin cloud. Leary's eyes widened. Like mist around leaves? Yes, Evan said, growing more excited. Exactly. And it can be clear, so your patterns show, or it can copy your patterns and project them outward. So I am safe, Leary said slowly. But also honest in appearance? Right. Leary's skin glowed in bright gold, showing her excitement. That is beautiful, Evan. He felt a hint of pride. He worked faster, adjusting settings, testing light patterns. It was complex work. Normally he needed a full lab for this, but he had enough small devices to build something simple. Finally, a small ring-shaped device sat on the desk. It wasn't fancy, but it was functional. Try this, he said. Leary touched the ring gently, almost reverently. Is it safe? Completely safe, Evan said. It won't touch your skin. It just floats around you. Leary held the ring against her chest. It was too big for her wrist and too small for her waist, so she placed it around her upper ribs where her natural armor curved slightly. The ring adjusted and snapped gently into place, hovering a hair length above her skin. She looked at Evan. What now? Step back a little, he said. She took a small step, and Evan activated the device. A soft, shimmering light spread around her, forming a thin layer of glowing mist. It wasn't clothing. It wasn't covering her natural body. It simply created a gentle shell of light around her, like she was wrapped in a glowing aura. Leary looked down and gasped softly. The hollow weave followed her shape but didn't hide anything. Instead, it mirrored her skin patterns, showing them even more clearly, almost as if they were part of a beautiful dance. This feels, she whispered, touching the light with her fingers. Like air. It is not heavy. It is not blocking anything. Evan watched nervously. It's comfortable? Very, Leary said. Her patterns flickered in bright pink, a color he now understood as happiness. Evan, this is perfect. Before he could respond, the door chimed. Evan froze. Leary froze. Both looked at the door with wide eyes. They're here, Evan whispered. Leary stepped toward him, small but brave. Do not fear. I will stand with you. Evan swallowed and opened the door. 2 program officers walked inside. One was human, tall and strict-looking. The other was a bulky alien officer with gray stone-like skin and glowing yellow eyes. They both carried tablets. Inspection, the human officer said. We need to confirm proper care and cultural respect in your exchange unit. Evan nodded nervously. Of course. Please come in. The officers entered and immediately noticed Leary standing in the center of the room, wrapped in her new hollow weave glow. The alien officer tilted his head. This unit's partner is not wearing physical garments. Leary stepped forward confidently. Greetings, she said in her soft musical voice. I am Leary of the forest world. I cannot wear your clothing because it hides my emotional patterns, but my human partner has created a solution that respects both our cultures. She spread her arms slightly, letting the hollow weave shimmer around her. The copied patterns glowed beautifully, dancing like soft waves. The officers stared. The human officer stepped closer, examining the device. This is holographic energy, he said. A hollow weave? This is advanced. Humans rarely build these without a lab. Evan swallowed. I did my best. It does not hide my truth, Leary said, and it follows your rule of clothing. So it is honesty and respect together. The alien officer tapped the glowing mist. His finger passed through it. It is not solid, yet it behaves like clothing in structure. It is acceptable, the human officer said slowly. And innovative, he turned to Evan. You solved a cultural conflict in less than one night. That is impressive. Evan felt his shoulders relax slightly, but the alien officer wasn't done. He crouched beside Leary, watching her patterns shift. Little one, he said, does this hollow weave make you comfortable? Yes, Leary said. It lets me stay honest while respecting human rules. My partner made it for me. The officer nodded. Then the inspection is satisfied. Good work, both of you. Evan almost sagged in relief. Leary's patterns burst into bright gold, showing joy. The officers recorded their notes and left the room without further issues. As the door closed, Evan let out a long breath. We did it, he said, hands shaking. Leary turned toward him with a radiant smile. We did it together. He sat on the couch, exhausted, but relieved. I thought we were finished. But you did not give up, Leary said softly. That is something I admire about humans. She sat beside him and watched the hollow weave shine like gentle fireflies. This is beautiful, she whispered. It feels like I am wearing a part of your world. Evan blushed lightly, but he smiled. I'm glad it works. Leary tilted her head. Why did you work so hard for me? I didn't want you to be sent home, he said honestly. And I didn't want to be sent home either. I wanted us to succeed. I wanted you to stay. Her patterns shifted into soft blues and warm pinks. I am happy you feel that way. They sat quietly for a moment, watching the glowing light dance around her. The hollow weave almost seemed alive, responding to her emotions and movements. Leary finally spoke again. Evan, I want you to know something. He looked at her. What is it? When I first arrived, she said gently, I stayed in my natural form because I trusted you. My people show trust by revealing their patterns fully. When you panicked, I thought perhaps I misunderstood humans. But you worked all night for me. You built something for me with your own hands. That shows your trust in return. Evan felt a warmth in his chest. You're my partner, he said softly. Of course I trust you. Leary's eyes glowed brightly. Then I will stay by your side always during this program. We will learn together. He laughed lightly. Just promise not to take off the hollow weave in front of inspectors again. Leary giggled. I promise, unless you want another panic reaction. It is funny. Please don't, he said quickly. She stood up and twirled in the soft holographic glow. Your invention is amazing. Humans truly find solutions where others see problems. That's what we do, Evan said, smiling. She stopped spinning and looked at him with gentle eyes. Evan, am I a good roommate now? He stood up and nodded. You're the best partner I could ask for. Leary's patterns fluttered like little stars. She floated forward and pressed her small forehead lightly against his arm, a gesture from her world that meant gratitude. I am happy to be your roommate, she whispered. Evan felt something warm and peaceful settle inside him. Outside their window, the floating city glowed. Spaceships moved between platforms. Different species walked together in the streets. And in that small room, a human and a tiny alien girl finally understood each other. The hollow weave shimmered around Leary as she looked out at the sky. Evan, she said softly, today is a good day. It is, he agreed. And tomorrow, she added, will be even better now that we are partners of trust. Evan smiled. Yeah, tomorrow will be great. Their strange story had begun with panic, confusion, and cultural misunderstanding. But now it was becoming something bright. Two different worlds learning side by side, one glowing pattern at a time.